There comes a moment in life when you realize that no amount of strength, planning, or resistance can protect your heart from pain. You try harder, you pray silently, you struggle endlessly, yet the battle feels heavier every day. In those moments, the soul needs a reminder, not of power, but of surrender. Because when human strength ends, divine help begins. When you step back with sincerity, something extraordinary happens. The one who controls the unseen steps forward. And when Allah takes charge, battles are not fought the way you expect. They are resolved in ways you never imagined. Trusting Allah is not giving up. It is a conscious decision to place your worries, fears, and struggles into the hands of the one who has power over every outcome. Many people misunderstand trust as weakness, as if relying on Allah means stepping back from effort or responsibility. In reality, true trust requires strength, patience, and deep faith. It means you continue to strive, you continue to work honestly, you continue to make the best choices you can. But you release the anxiety of control. You stop trying to force outcomes that were never meant to be in your hands, and you accept that Allah's plan operates on a level far beyond human understanding. When you trust Allah, you acknowledge that your vision is limited, but His knowledge is complete. You see only the present moment, while He sees the past, the future, and every unseen consequence in between. What appears to you as a loss may be a shield from something far worse. What feels like rejection may be redirection towards something greater. Trusting Allah means believing that even when life hurts, it is not random. Every hardship carries purpose, and every struggle is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This level of trust demands surrender of the ego. The ego wants control, recognition, and immediate results. Faith teaches patience, humility, and acceptance. When things fall apart, the ego panics. But trust reminds the heart that nothing truly breaks without permission. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear, and if you are facing something heavy, it is because within you exists the strength to endure it. That strength may not feel visible, but it is activated the moment you turn sincerely to Allah. Trusting Allah also means understanding timing. Humans rush, Allah perfects. You may pray and not see results immediately, but delayed answers are not denied prayers. Sometimes Allah delays because your heart is still growing, your character still forming, or your situation still unfolding. What you ask for may arrive in a better form at a better time, or be replaced by something far greater than what you imagined. Trust allows you to remain calm while waiting, confident that what is written for you will never miss you. Letting Allah take control does not mean abandoning effort. It means working with sincerity while knowing that results belong to Him alone. You plant a seed, you water it, you protect it, but you cannot force it to grow. Growth happens by His command. When you accept this, your heart finds peace, even in uncertainty. You stop measuring your worth by outcomes and start measuring it by obedience, patience, and intention. In moments of hardship, trust transforms fear into reliance and despair into hope. It allows you to stand firm when the world feels unstable. When doors close, trust assures you that Allah is guiding you away from harm. When paths seem unclear, trust lights the way with faith instead of doubt. This is not surrender out of defeat, this is surrender out of belief. Belief that Allah is enough, His plan is perfect, and His control is far greater than anything you could ever hold on your own. Silence with faith is not weakness, it is a form of strength that few people truly understand. In a world that encourages constant reaction, loud defense, and immediate response, choosing silence requires deep self-control and unwavering belief. When someone wrongs you, the natural instinct is to explain yourself, to argue, to prove your innocence, or to seek revenge. But faith teaches a higher discipline, to remain calm, to guard your tongue, and to trust that Allah sees what others may ignore or distort. Silence rooted in faith is not the absence of pain, it is the decision not to let pain control your actions. Ego demands recognition and validation. It wants to be heard, acknowledged, and praised. Faith, however, redirects the heart toward Allah alone. When you choose silence over argument, you protect your dignity. You refuse to lower yourself to levels where anger dictates behavior. You understand that defending your character in front of people is less important than preserving sincerity in front of Allah. True honor does not come from winning arguments. It comes from maintaining integrity when provoked. Silence with faith also prevents unnecessary damage. Words spoken in anger often leave wounds that cannot be healed, relationships that cannot be repaired, and regret that lingers long after the moment passes. Faithful silence acts as a shield. It allows time for emotions to settle and for wisdom to guide the response, if a response is even needed. Many conflicts lose their power when met with patience. Many lies collapse when they are not fueled by reaction. Allah does not need your noise to reveal the truth. He uncovers it in His own way, at His own time. Choosing silence does not mean accepting injustice forever. It means understanding when to speak and when to step back. Faith gives you clarity to distinguish between defending truth and feeding ego. Sometimes the greatest victory is walking away with your heart intact. When you leave a matter with Allah, He takes over in ways you could never orchestrate. Situations resolve themselves, intentions become clear, and justice arrives without you having to stain your soul with bitterness. Silence also strengthens the heart. It teaches patience, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. Instead of reacting impulsively, you reflect. Instead of exploding, you grow. Faith transforms restraint into power. Each moment you choose silence for the sake of Allah, your inner strength increases. You learn that not every battle deserves your energy, and not every accusation requires your defense. Allah is sufficient as a witness, and His judgment is always just. When you trust Allah enough to remain silent, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of constant defense. You sleep with peace because your conscience is clear. You move forward because you are not trapped in the past. Your heart remains light because you are not carrying resentment. This silence is not emptiness. It is filled with reliance, patience, and certainty. It is the quiet confidence that Allah knows, Allah sees, and Allah will handle what you choose not to fight. Every delay in life carries wisdom, even when it feels heavy, confusing, or unfair. The human heart is impatient by nature. It wants answers now, relief now, success now. When things do not move according to our expectations, frustration creeps in and faith is tested. Yet delay is not a sign of neglect. It is often a sign of divine care. Allah does not rush because His timing is perfect. And what is perfect cannot be hurried without losing its purpose. When something you deeply desire is delayed, it forces you to grow. It teaches patience, humility, and resilience. Immediate results may bring temporary happiness, but delayed outcomes build character. In the waiting, you learn to pray more sincerely, reflect more deeply, and rely more fully on Allah rather than on your own limited abilities. The heart that learns patience during delay becomes stronger, calmer, and more grounded in faith. Hardship during delay often prepares you for what is coming next. You may ask for ease, but Allah may first give you strength. You may ask for success, but Allah may first give you discipline. You may ask for clarity, but Allah may first give you confusion, so that you learn to seek guidance sincerely. Every challenge shapes your capacity to handle future blessings. Without this preparation, blessings could overwhelm you or lead you astray. What feels like being held back is sometimes Allah ensuring that when you move forward, you do not fall apart. Hidden mercy often exists in unanswered or delayed prayers. Sometimes what you ask for is not good for you in the form you imagine. Allah, in His mercy, protects you from outcomes that would harm your faith, your peace, or your future. You may look back one day and realize that what you thought was a loss was actually protection. That door that never opened saved you from pain you were never meant to experience. That opportunity that passed by was not meant to define you. Delay also teaches trust. It tests whether your faith is conditional or firm. Will you believe only when things go your way, or will you remain steadfast when the path feels unclear? True faith shines in uncertainty. It is easy to trust Allah when life is comfortable. It is far more powerful to trust Him when nothing makes sense. In those moments, faith becomes an anchor, keeping your heart steady while everything around you feels unstable. Mercy often arrives disguised as struggle. The pain of waiting can soften the heart, remove arrogance, and draw you closer to Allah. Many people only turn to sincere prayer when they are broken. Delay humbles the soul and reminds it of its dependence on the Creator. In that dependence there is closeness. In that closeness there is peace. Even when the situation does not change immediately, the heart changes, and that change itself is a mercy. When you understand that delay is not denial, your perspective shifts. You stop measuring Allah's care by speed and start recognizing it through wisdom. What is written for you will reach you at the exact moment it is meant to. Nothing meant for you will miss you, and nothing that misses you was ever meant to stay. Trusting this truth allows you to wait with hope rather than despair, patience rather than frustration, and faith rather than doubt. Allah removes people and situations from your life, not to break you, but to protect what lies ahead. Loss is one of the most painful experiences a heart can endure, especially when it comes unexpectedly or without explanation. When someone leaves, when a relationship ends, or when a situation collapses, the mind immediately labels it as failure or punishment. Yet often it is neither. It is divine intervention. Allah in His mercy sees dangers you cannot see and removes what would harm your faith, your character, or your future before the damage becomes permanent. Attachment blinds the heart. We hold tightly to people and situations because of comfort, familiarity, or emotional dependence. Even when something is unhealthy, we struggle to let go because change feels frightening. Allah knows this weakness in us, so sometimes He takes the step we are too afraid to take ourselves. What feels like loss in the moment may be the very thing that saves you from long-term pain, regret, or spiritual emptiness. Protection does not always feel gentle. Sometimes it feels like heartbreak. When Allah removes someone from your life, it is often because their role in your journey has ended. Not everyone is meant to walk with you forever. Some people are lessons, not destinations. Their presence teaches you about patience, boundaries, self-worth, or reliance on Allah. Once the lesson is complete, holding on becomes harmful. Allah closes that chapter so you can move forward without the weight of what no longer serves your growth. Situations are also removed for the same reason. A job you loved, a plan you trusted, a path you were confident in may suddenly disappear. At first it feels unfair, but Allah may be redirecting you towards something that aligns better with your purpose. Sometimes you are comfortable where you are, but comfort can limit potential. Allah removes stability to awaken strength you never knew you had. Through loss, hidden abilities emerge, resilience is built, and dependence on Allah deepens. This removal also purifies the heart. It teaches you where your true attachment lies. When something is taken away, the heart either collapses or returns to Allah. In that return, faith becomes stronger. You realize that people change, circumstances shift, and worldly security is temporary, but Allah remains constant. He never leaves, never abandons, and never fails His servants. This realization brings a form of peace that no human relationship can provide. Protection sometimes comes in the form of separation to save you from becoming someone you were never meant to be. Certain environments, influences, or relationships slowly pull the heart away from sincerity and purpose. Allah removes them before they reshape you. You may mourn what was lost, but with time, clarity arrives. You see how that removal preserved your dignity, protected your values, and kept your faith intact. When Allah removes, He also replaces. Replacement does not always happen immediately, and that waiting can feel painful. But what comes next is often better. Healthier relationships, clearer direction, and deeper inner peace. Trusting this process requires faith, but it brings growth. What was taken was not meant to stay, and what is meant for you will arrive at the right time. Loss in the hands of Allah is not an ending. It is a redirection towards something safer, stronger, and more aligned with who you are meant to become. When Allah defends you, justice unfolds in a way that does not require noise, arguments, or revenge. Human beings often believe that justice must be chased, announced, or forced. We feel the urge to explain ourselves, expose others, or prove our innocence publicly. But divine justice operates on a higher level. Beyond schemes and strategies, Allah does not need chaos to establish truth. When He defends you, the outcome arrives quietly yet powerfully, leaving no doubt that it was not the work of human effort. One of the greatest tests of faith is remaining patient when you are wronged and the world seems silent. It is painful to be misunderstood, falsely accused, or treated unfairly, while others appear to succeed through dishonesty. In those moments, the heart feels restless and wounded. But patience during injustice is not passive suffering, it is active trust. It is choosing to believe that Allah sees every detail and that no wrongdoing escapes His knowledge. When you leave your case with Him, He takes over in ways you could never plan. Divine defense protects your dignity. Instead of dragging you into battles that would drain your soul, Allah resolves matters in ways that preserve your character. He does not humiliate you, He elevates you. He does not expose your weaknesses, He exposes He truth. Often, the very people who wronged you reveal themselves through their own actions. Lies unravel without your involvement, and false narratives collapse under their own weight. Justice arrives not through your struggle, but through Allah's perfect timing. Victory that comes from Allah is different from victory achieved through conflict. It carries peace instead of bitterness. It heals instead of scars. When Allah defends you, your heart remains light because you did not compromise your values to win. You did not harm others to protect yourself. You remained patient, and patience allowed Allah's power to manifest fully. This kind of victory strengthens faith and deepens reliance on Him. Silence often becomes the weapon of the believer when Allah is in control. While others speak excessively, explain unnecessarily, and defend themselves aggressively, the believer remains calm. This calmness confuses those who rely on manipulation and intimidation. They expect reaction, but they receive restraint. And in that restraint, Allah works quietly behind the scenes, shifting circumstances, changing hearts, and opening doors that were once closed. Divine justice may not come immediately, but it always comes completely. Delay does not weaken it, it perfects it. Allah allows situations to unfold so that the truth becomes undeniable. When justice arrives, it does not require explanation. People understand without being told. Outcomes speak louder than words, and reality becomes clearer than any argument could make it. When you allow Allah to defend you, you free yourself from carrying anger and resentment. You stop reliving the hurt and start moving forward. Your peace becomes your success. Your patience becomes your strength. You realize that being protected by Allah is far more powerful than being proven right in front of people. In His defense there is honor. In high justice there is balance. And in His timing there is a victory that no one can take away. True strength is not found in physical power, loud words, or emotional dominance. It is found in patience, prayer, and complete reliance on Allah. The world often defines strength as the ability to control others or overpower situations. But faith reshapes that definition. Strength in the eyes of Allah is the ability to remain firm when tested, calm when provoked, and hopeful when circumstances appear dark. It is the quiet endurance of a heart that trusts Allah even when answers are delayed. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active perseverance. It is the ability to continue doing what is right while carrying pain without complaint. Patience restrains the tongue from speaking in anger, the heart from falling into despair, and the mind from rushing toward harmful decisions. When patience is rooted in faith, it becomes a source of power rather than weakness. It allows you to endure trials without losing your values, dignity, or connection to Allah. Each moment of patience strengthens the soul and builds inner resilience. Prayer is the believer's lifeline. It is where burdens are lifted, fears are released, and strength is renewed. In prayer, the heart finds a place of refuge where no judgment exists and no explanation is needed. You speak and Allah listens. You cry and He understands. Prayer connects the fragile human heart to divine strength. When life overwhelms you, prayer reminds you that you are not alone. It shifts your focus from what you lack to the one who provides. From fear to trust, from despair to hope. Reliance on Allah completes this strength. It is the certainty that whatever happens is under His control. Reliance does not mean ignoring effort or responsibility. It means understanding that results belong to Allah alone. You strive sincerely, but you release the anxiety of outcomes. This reliance frees the heart from constant worry and self-blame. You stop replaying mistakes endlessly and start trusting that Allah can bring good even from what went wrong. When patience, prayer, and reliance come together, they transform hardship into growth. Pain becomes purpose. Struggle becomes elevation. You may bend, but you do not break. The heart becomes anchored in faith, stable even when circumstances change. This strength does not seek attention or recognition. It exists quietly, deeply, and steadily, guiding decisions with wisdom rather than emotion. Relying on Allah also humbles the soul. It removes arrogance and replaces it with gratitude. You recognize that every breath, every opportunity, and every moment of relief comes from Him. This awareness softens the heart and strengthens the connection with Allah. In humility there is peace. In surrender there is clarity. This form of strength carries a unique calmness. Even when storms surround you, there is tranquility within. Even when doors close, hope remains alive. You understand that Allah is sufficient, His plan is flawless, and His support is constant. True strength is not the absence of hardship, it is the presence of faith within hardship. Through patience, prayer, and reliance on Allah, the heart rises above fear and finds a power that no challenge can defeat.